another episode of the Fair Shake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, K1, aka Chris. Hope you enjoy this episode and on to one of the other hosts.
Good morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Whatever time you guys are listening to this today. Finna get mango, no huevos. This week, Fats is on a little hiatus, but he will be back soon enough. We're also introducing a recurring guest, Felipe Savage. He's back with us to have a little debate about Godzilla versus King Kong, and a childhood friend of Chris, E.
Here,
Introduce yourself, everybody, and on to the show.
What's going on, people?
going on.
All right, so for those who have been listening to us for the past couple of weeks, we've talked about watching Godzilla versus King Kong, and we was gonna talk on it, and obviously this is this episode. So that being said, we're gonna start off with your boy Leaps, and I want to know who you was going in, who you wanted to go to win in this bout, and how were you surprised by the outcome?
So basically, I'm not gonna lie and be like everybody else, like, oh my god, I was hyped for this movie for so long. I came into it maybe like a month, 2 months before release, and I was like, man, this could be something good. This could be a really good movie. And I was going into it, I'm a huge, like, I love gorillas. Gorillas are one of my favorite animals. So I really had to go and say, you know what, going into it, King Kong about to put the hands on this lizard, So when the movie first started, I really felt like, man, wait a minute. This man got a whole beam that could come out his mouth. So it's like, how is my boy gonna fight that? And I knew that was gonna be like one of the big, like, Godzilla has the upper hand. But I still said it. My boy about to muster up all the courage and rip this dude's tail off, because that's what I thought was gonna happen. He was gonna rip his tail off and just beat the shit out of him with it.
So you thought this was gonna be like a gruesome bout type?
Yeah, I thought that's like, it was gonna be like, there's gonna be one, because that's what they said. There's only gonna be one, or only one could win, and but the movie is what it is. But how the ending happened and how like it ended, like, I gotta say, round one, clearly Godzilla, they're in the water. My man is hopping from boat to boat, but you gotta give my boy King Kong the fair one and say he ain't put up a fight in the water out of his element. Fight two, you could say Kong, he went in there, he did his thing, but ultimately, it is what it is. I just feel like the movie was very much scripted for Kong to seem like he was gonna win, but without saying much, it wasn't even.
Oh no, it's fair game.
It wasn't even close.
Yes, you can spoil. You can spoil.
This is fair game.
Okay. So spoiler. Okay, yeah. So basically,
spoiler review.
When he got the axe, I'm like, oh nah, he's about to fuck this dude up. But then I'm like, nah, it can't be, because they did this whole thing, where he put the axe in like this key slot, and then everything started glowing, and I'm like, oh, my boy's about to be turned Super Saiyan 3. All right, cool, I'm with it. But like, once they got to like Tokyo, I believe it was,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hong Kong.
I'm like, nah, that's Godzilla home turf, bah. Godzilla.
Okay. Let's swing it over to E. So E, same question to you. Going into this, who you thought was gonna win, and how'd you feel about the outcome?
No, I mean, going into it, I assumed Godzilla was going to win always, because I've always grown up watching Godzilla movies, especially with Chris and his brother Steven. Steven was obsessed with Godzilla, so that was like all the time. So I figured Godzilla was going to win, but what Lee said is true. They do make it seem like Kong is going to be the one to come out on top, especially with the whole throne scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that they were going to give it the old switcheroo and put Kong to come out on top, but then they ended up like copping out at the end with the whole like duo thing. So I mean, it is what it is. But like I don't know. I wasn't expecting too much out of the movie. Like everybody was super hyped for the thing from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I would see the previews and everything. I was like, oh, it looks dope. But when they do like, oh, it's delayed, then oh, we're gonna put it on HBO. I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll watch it now because it's gonna be on HBO. I wasn't gonna go out my way to go watch the movie, but I will say that after watching it, I did enjoy it. So I wasn't disappointed by the movie, but
So you felt it delivered.
yeah, it delivered.
Okay, great.
Aside from the human acting, there was so much of it that there was no need for it to be in there.
I'm gonna touch up
Like
on that.
the
But
whole Millie Bobby Brown thing was
yeah.
just pointless.
And
We'll
El
get on that.
Capitan, your take on it?
All right, so no disrespect to the Kong fans. Yeah, your boy, he got some licks in, but he was not touching my boy, the King of Monsters, Godzilla, bro. I grew up on Godzilla. I've seen all the old movies, him against the original Mecha Godzilla, Space Godzilla, fucking Mothra, fucking Destroyer, all those monsters, and he always won. Even though sometimes he looked like he would lose, he always won. Kong, he don't got that resume, but there's no long list of Kong movies. He beat what? He had one movie. He beat one monster in his movie, the
Skullcrawler.
the Skull Crawler King or whatever. Whack, whatever. Fine, let him get that win under his belt. I appreciate that he helped Godzilla beat Mecha Godzilla, because this Mecha Godzilla was a cheat. He was OP.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew they weren't gonna make like one of them kill the other because they're both good. They both like protect humanity and shit. So I knew they were gonna have like some sort of, just like in the last Zilla movie, how Mothra helped him fight the other monsters. It was gonna be like a tag team kind of thing. So I kind of knew that was happening, but this makes it so that they could do like they could do Godzilla, so more Godzilla solo, or more Kong solo, or if they have a crazy villain or two villains, they can have them tag team again. I
Yeah, it
don't think
doesn't kill off the franchise.
people are not gonna get tired of the kaiju fights. People get tired of the, like you said, the human stuff, the human element. That stuff was weak.
Pointless storyline.
Like the more kaiju stuff, like look at what was it, Pacific Rim, the first one. It was pretty decent.
The second one was the acting was terrible, but the fights
Exactly.
were amazing.
Everybody loves. Most people like those kaiju fights. So
how about like a film like, because you just dived into kaijus and you just reminded me. How about like a film like Cloverfield? Do you consider those kaijus?
Yeah, I love Cloverfield. The first one.
The original Cloverfield was great.
I love that movie. I never seen is it Cloverfield Lane or whatever that they
in the basement?
In the basement.
Yeah.
I never saw that one.
I seen that one.
But I saw the latest one that was on Netflix not too long ago, that it was like that they like went into another dimension or something. I don't know. But that's a cool that's another cool premise that they do with that. I loved Cloverfield. Mm-hmm. The way it was shot, everything.
Oh, yeah.
So we digress, going back into Godzilla. So the kaijus.
Yeah, that they could bring back all the old monsters. Like I don't have all the old DVDs. I have most of them because of my brother. He was a huge Godzilla fan, like he said.
Mm-hmm.
So they could bring back all those monsters, like Space Godzilla, like Destroyer. There's a bunch of monsters that they had back in the day that they could do. They even had a mecha, the three-headed monster. They had a mecha one back in the
Ghidorah. He was a cyborg. He was like a cyborg. Yeah.
Ghidorah.
They could do him and bring back Mecha Godzilla, and then they fight Kong and Godzilla.
In that
again.
one, Ghidorah was flying in the air with Godzilla, right? And he
dropped him or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he like seismic tosses him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, as you guys may know, I'm a dad. Got 4 boys, but my third one, Pickles, he's obsessed with anything kaiju and just Titans related. So, For his birthday, he had a Titan, Attack on Titan themed birthday party. Great. And then he was just beasting for this Godzilla film. We finally started watching together the day it dropped, and he was chewing me up. He's like, "Oh, we gotta watch it." So we sit down and watch it. He's a huge Godzilla fan. Sometimes you gotta you gotta go the other side. So I said I'm King Kong. I'm going for King Kong. And like you guys mentioned, the human aspect of the movie was complete shit. You understand?
That's terrible.
But the fights, they made it worthwhile. And I'm glad that the movie had a clear winner, because it did have a clear winner if you really paid attention to it. And that is Godzilla.
Oh yeah, but the director going in, he said it. He said there'll be a clear winner. They're not gonna make it seem one's gonna win.
I'm super glad that they did that. But like to Leap's point earlier in the conversation, he did give him the fair one in the ship up until he flipped them over, and obviously just because of the terrain, it was going to Godzilla no matter what.
Yeah, that it was unfair. It was unfair.
But I do respect him for doing a little bit of stuff like grabbing a jet out of the air and throwing it at him. Yeah. I thought that was pretty okay.
He was no pushover. I'll give him that. He wasn't a pushover.
But then when the humans be like, okay, he's gonna kill him. We need him, and they started shooting the flare things. Those into the ocean.
Oh, the death charges.
I was like, okay, I see how this is going. Great. The second fight, when they were fighting on land, I gave respect to Khan when he came up, right? And he saw Godzilla across the way, and he threw the axe down, and he was we're gonna fight, mano a mano. And I'm glad that they really made King Khan really athletic in the city. You understand? Jumping from building to building. He was doing some like elbow fake drops, slaps and shit. Like I was like, okay, we see something here. Throughout that time, that scene, my son was like, no, Godzilla can't lose. And I'm like, yes, Godzilla's gonna get his ass beat. But just watching the way that fight turned out, I'm like, okay. And then I felt like the turn was almost too sudden. The way like all of a sudden, like Godzilla kind of he went like this berserk mode in a sense. Like he became like real animalistic. If you noticed, when if I remember correctly, he had threw him on his back and then he started like clawing at him and shit.
Yeah, like scratching his chest.
But it's true. Godzilla's arsenal is himself. He's a fucking walking nuke. And King Kong, the fact that he can make weapons out of things, okay, but it is only so long that that's going to be able to carry you. Obviously, from when they were in the tunnel, something went down where you see the throne and it has the Godzilla emblem, I guess you would say, around the throne. So seeing that, they must have worked some like, like symbiotic, like, let's scratch each other's backs.
Like so mutual partnership.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can see that.
You understand? But I was glad when Godzilla threw him on his back, stomped on his chest, and it was like, listen, you bow down to me type shit. You understand? And although King Kong did the little, scream back like, nah, bitch, I think that they gave the fights their respect for both monsters.
If I may interject here.
Go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead.
We got to talk about the axe, guys. And I really feel like there was an emphasis on this axe that really showed itself when he was fighting Mecha Godzilla. And then just the pure respect Kong had of his own power, that he knew, okay, you know what? I'm going to destroy Godzilla if I use the axe. Because if you think about it, Mecha Godzilla has to be created with the greatest steel on Earth. And how, like butter, he was just destroying this machine.
Probably not even Probably not
wasn't
even
it
steel.
but
Probably
wasn't it
some
supercharged
You
element
though?
know,
from.
Yeah, but that,
you
you got to remember, Leap, it was
so
charged by the nuclear energy of Godzilla.
yeah, but that's
Without
what I'm
that, it
saying.
wasn't doing anything.
It was, but exactly with the energy that Godzilla gave him to do that, right?
Hmm.
Imagine just straight on flesh, which is what Godzilla has. I think that this is what
But
happened
without the energy,
without the energy. I think it pierces him.
he didn't.
That's
Wait,
why that's why it had to have been able to
he never used the axe against Godzilla.
He
no,
did. He hit him once.
Yeah,
he
he
threw
caught him
it
in the
down.
leg. He caught him in the leg.
Yeah, but like what I'm
Did
trying
it
to say
pierce his
is
skin?
what I'm trying
Yeah.
to what
Hmm.
I'm trying to
Okay,
say
so
is
then your point is valid then.
like that's what I'm trying to say. Like if you really touch on that axe, you could really spin it the other way. But then as Pro stated, how the directors they really wanted to show respect in these two. Yes, there's a clear cut winner, and I will default to Godzilla being more powerful than Kong, but I do see it like if there is a because let's be real, I'm pretty sure it did pretty good in like terms of how movies are rated. Yeah,
I
the
believe
uh,
it broke the box office pandemic.
Yeah,
so
the record
look
for
at that.
pandemic.
So they're gonna want a part two, a round two, you know, because Kong kind of stated that again when he screamed back. So it's like if let's say, and again, I know they're two good monsters and they both protect humanity, so they have some respect for one another because just as I feel like when Godzilla didn't beam Kong right in his mouth when he was on above him was the same reason why Kong threw down the axe. And I really want the viewers they're listening to understand that respect they have in one another. And it's like that's gonna carry on through to the next one and the next one and that and the next one. So it's at the same time they do set up that Godzilla is stronger than Kong, there is a mutual like respect for one another. So it's
So
like Godzilla
now,
Yeah,
knows
they
Kong
do
knows.
imply that there's
now that
mutual
you've
respect from
established
each other.
like a good argument, I like this good argument. You've established something that makes sense, is coherent with Kong, right? Because maybe the fight would have turned out different if the battle was just on straight land. You understand? And Kong, instead of not using the weapon, instead of not using the weapon, he would have been like, you know what? We've been at war for centuries. There's wins and losses here. But to Chris's point, there is a long ass resume that Godzilla has. You
Mhm.
understand? And although Kong fought other monsters, the ones that he really fought were on just Skull Island, just big
Mhm.
dumb idiots. Whereas Godzilla was fighting like all the titans of all the of the entire world. So I could see both arguments now, and why it's this way. Like the perspective that you've given me on Kong, I could see a part two, and Kong actually maybe possibly being victorious in that film if they do something like that.
And that's the thing about great trilogies and great fights. Think of your Mayweathers and Pacquiao's. Think of all the UFC title fights that have been going back and forth for ages, the best of the best, right? This is what you set your stage for in this type of movie. I also want to ask you guys this, a question from the boy savvy to the boys here right now, and the viewers that are listening to this on your car ride, wherever. Think about this. Did they spare each other and show the respect of each other of the hand-to-hand combat because they are the last Kong and last Zilla alive? Did they say to each other like, hey, we've been fighting for centuries, for ages? Because remember, when he goes through that portal, when Kong goes through that portal, and you see all the King Kongs dead, and you go to Skull Island, you see all of them dead. You also see a lot of dead Godzillas. You understand? So what do you guys think? Why was that true definition of, hey, we're not gonna kill each other, but we have the complete tools to?
I think Chris or E would know this one
Uh,
because they've
can I?
watched
Yeah, I
it.
want to answer. Do you think I'm gonna flip the question back to you?
Mm,
Did Godzilla really spare him?
I
Because
think
he
so.
left him for dead. He was dead. He needed that electricity to restart his heart.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think that Godzilla meant to kill him. You understand? Because if he meant to kill him, he beams him right there. He doesn't leave him for dead.
He
If
knew
I
he was
want somebody,
dying.
but I don't
That's what
think that.
that's what you mean by spare.
Yeah, I
Like he
felt
didn't
like
finish him.
yeah, because if I'm Godzilla and I think that Kong is a complete threat to me, I'm literally beaming him.
That's probably why he didn't think he
You
was that
understand?
much of a threat because he was already
So
down on the floor.
because if you look at it, how many times did he actually try to beam Kong? I felt like throughout the movie there was so many instances where he's like literally has him wrapped around his tail, and if you wanted to really kill him, like if you wanted to kill Kong, he had so many opportunities. Like, why am I letting this monkey go climb up this hole that I just created through the earth? When I could just do this to this monkey. And then that's the thing. How can he split basically the earth in two, but not pierce Kong when he does hit Kong in the back? Like I don't know.
Because
It's
But his
remember, if
beam,
you see the
yeah.
charge though when he shoot, there's like whenever he does the big beams, they have you see the charge that goes no 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 no, and then it comes out. Whereas sometimes he does like a pepper breath, type of
yeah,
joke.
like it's like a flamethrower to like something else,
Like a
a
fire
stronger.
blast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I see. I see.
But to your other point, you think there's gonna be another fight between? I don't think there's gonna be another fight
No,
between
no,
them.
I don't
I
think
I
so.
I
Either.
see Kong. He's cool in the Hollow Earth,
uh-huh.
quote unquote. I think he's gonna keep that as his domain,
Domain.
and
Yeah, that'll be his
and
domain.
Godzilla's gonna have regular Earth. He's gonna have the outer, like he's chilling in outer Earth. Whenever
But isn't
maybe
Kong in the
somebody,
dome?
yeah, he's in the Hollow Earth.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which that's a whole nother thing that don't make no fucking sense to me. But whatever, because there's an
So
Earth inside the Earth that I don't
so I
like.
have a
Yeah.
question that just came up, right? Yeah, both. I'm these are conversations where, like I said, I like because putting up valid points. Now, with the rap sheet that Godzilla has, that he's fought all these monsters. Let's say Kong had the fair footing where there was like a place where he could jump off a lot of shit and do all of that stuff. Do you think, given the opportunity, right, that Khan could actually beat him in a battle of like, stamina where he doesn't give Godzilla a chance to charge? Because if you remember the scene when they were fighting in Hong Kong, you said
Hmm.
Yeah.
he's jumping off the buildings and stuff, and he's choking him out and stuff. You understand? Do you think that given
Like
the
if the
opportunity,
terrain was
yeah,
in Kong's favor, of course,
yes.
I think he will win because he
So
has the home F field advantage.
So that being said, I believe it was King of the
What's
when he was fighting Ghidorah,
Wasn't there
right?
an original? Okay, yeah, my fault. I thought ain't there another Godzilla versus King Kong back in the day that King Kong won? I swear there was.
There's a whole bunch of
There
them,
might
bro.
have been. They made a few of those movies.
But so that fight itself, right? What I wanted to finish up by saying was in King Kong, the one that not King Kong, the one that got Godzilla fights Ghidorah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Do you remember? I believe he had turned himself into a nuke that he blew, like he just went super radioactive and blew everything up.
Hmm.
Do you think that again, like without the terrain now, battle of attrition, like the way Kong is as athletic as he is, do you think that he would give him an opportunity to just wild out and do beams and blow up like that?
Nah.
No. Okay,
I
fair,
don't think
Mm-mm.
so.
fair. I just want to follow this up. Now that we spoke about the fights or whatever, I want to follow this up by talking about the stuff that I felt was unnecessary, super cringy, and unworthy.
Oh, the bad
You
stuff, of
understand?
course.
Now, respectfully, I would like you guys to give me each uh, one or two scenes where you thought was just cringy. Starting off with
Um.
you, Chris.
Um. Okay. When they're looking for the guy that he's like the hacker guy, whatever. It's 11 Millie, whatever her name is, and
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
her
yeah.
and her friend.
The conspiracy dude.
Yeah, just all. I think honestly, most of the scenes with them is cringy.
Super cringe.
Yeah, most of the scenes with them, they try to be like little funny, like they try to do a little bit of comic
Yeah,
relief, and
that
it's
whole Millie
bad.
Bobby Brown thing was
Yeah,
just. Oof.
I find the actually the other side, the Kong people, they were a little bit better
Yeah,
to me.
I enjoyed the little girl.
The girl was cool. The little girl was cool. That she could talk to Kong. I like that. Um, the scientist lady, that's like her fake mom or whatever. It was okay. Um, the daughter of the main bad guy,
The hot Mexican lady, I forget her
she's
name.
hot.
I don't
She's
remember
bad as fuck, bro. That's all
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
her name.
um,
But she got
but yeah,
crushed.
she got crushed. She got crushed. But a lot of the human stuff was bad, just in general.
How about you, E? What's your take on
uh,
your
the
cringiest parts?
I don't blame personally. I don't blame Millie Bobby Brown for it because she's doing her job. It's just the studio trying to take advantage of a big name in her because since she's still hot, as for like the actor like with Stranger Things, like everybody still wants to see her. So they're trying to take advantage of the name, and there was no reason for her to be in that movie doing anything.
She never made contact with Godzilla, right? Eye contact.
No, there was she was in the movie for no reason because she was trying to defend Godzilla, but she never saw Godzilla at all until the end that they were like that they were in the same spot, and still at that
He
they were
didn't
never
acknowledge
really
her.
next to each other. Yeah, so it was no reason for her to be in that movie. So any scene with her in the movie was just trying to like them you take advantage of her being freaking her, and that's it. It was pointless.
Yeah,
The little girl was pretty dope. The fact that she could talk to Godzilla, that she the not Godzilla talk to Kong and Kong learned sign language from her so they could communicate. That was at least interesting. But the like any scene with the head bad guy, I forget what the hell his name, Simmons. Like this, anything, literally anything with the humans was bad except for like the little girl communicating with Kong, because then like it gave Kong more emotion. So at least with that, you do like okay, Kong has a human side that well, not a human side, but you know that he has a side that okay, I understand what's going on here. I want to help this person out. I don't want nothing bad to happen to them. But
yeah,
And how about you,
with
L Leaps?
with Millie, there was nothing. There was no reason for her to be there. Like anything with her going on, there was legit no reason. Like you could have cut that whole thing from the movie, and it wouldn't make a difference to the movie because there's none of that made any sense at all. It was pointless.
I 100% agree with E. Like, not only just the fact that you know, what's her name, Emily Bobby Brown being in there. Like I felt like that movie could have been shot just strictly Kong finding his way to Godzilla or Godzilla finding his way and like them just duking it out for 2 hours and it would have been just as good, right? I felt like a lot of the guy, the podcast guy, I felt like okay, it was a good like couple of first scenes with him, but then it started just dragging, and I felt like the movie continues to drag on longer and longer. I felt like the setups that those actors had were really terrible because you know you think about how a movie's supposed to be made. You know, there has to be some build up to the action, right? But a movie like that, when you're talking about two massive behemoths, like that's all I want to see. I'm sorry. I don't want to see people talking about, "Hey, do you think they're really doing something about Godzilla?" Like I don't know. I felt like there should have been more like building of the actual monsters than building of these characters that to be honest, they could not be in the movie and it wouldn't matter to me. The little girl, yeah, on the standpoint that she can communicate with Kong, pretty cool. But besides that, it just feels like a lot of things are forced, like everybody has stated so far. I just feel like you say King Kong, Godzilla, that's what I want to see. You didn't say King Kong, Godzilla, and Emily Bobby Brown. It wasn't a triple threat match.
Millie Bobby, bro. We'll let that
Millie
Millie,
pass.
Bobby.
Emily,
So
whatever.
we at the 10-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to chime in. Being that you guys said everything that I felt, I'm not gonna touch on that. But I've always been a critic when it comes to suspense of disbelief. There's just some things where it's just like, how? Number one, how? When they're closing up whatever the first location, and the conspiracy dude is running around and blah blah blah. He gets to follow the real people where they're going, right? Uh, and then the two guards in front of the door get ironically beamed in front of him. He survives. One thing I couldn't believe, right?
Hmm.
Two, somehow they meet up with this guy, right? And they land in a what seems to be a high-tech facility. Not a fucking soul catches them, right? You would think that there's cameras fucking watching a hangar with this expensive ass train, right? That gets you from here to there in like 2 seconds, right? Because to be honest, for them to build such a machine and such a highway has to be some exemplary work of tech, right? So you mean to tell me there's no cameras in there watching? You understand, like the little skull babies, and nobody fucking realize, okay, there's people inside of that. Let's message the people on the other end so when they land, catch them, and that's it. And the story. Nope, they still make it through. They make it so fucking far that they're able to talk and touch the Ghidorah skull. And again, another spot that wasn't heavily guarded, wasn't nothing. The time that they finally get catched or caught is when they come out of a fucking tunnel that happens to be in front of a lab. And I'm just like, no. Those things like that bother me because, again, doesn't push the story in no way. It just gives you little bits of, okay, they made it to a place where they basically having Meru Godzilla practice fighting against, bots. I mean, well, not bots, but these fucking skull babies. But again, it just things like that annoy me. Um, what I didn't so much like it didn't bother me was the fact that the little girl could sign, because I think that's a common thing between human and apes anyway. So it wasn't like I was fucking um like oblivious to the fact. But
Yeah, it made sense.
when they had him in that big ass facility at the beginning of the film, you mean to tell me not one person saw this big ass monkey fucking communicating with a tiny ass girl? You understand? So those
Yeah,
type of
because they
beliefs
have a lot
bother
of
me.
cameras. He's got a point. They got a lot of cameras in there. They're watching
You
everything. You
understand?
need to tell me
So they
nobody
make
knows little
these
girl
whole situations
communicating with them the whole
seem,
time.
yeah, they make these whole situations seem like, oh wow, like everybody's stunned when they come up, but nothing really happens. So that's that. If you guys want to touch up on anything on these last 5 minutes, go ahead. But
I, I got one
overall,
thing.
what I like to say from this film, you guys know I'm not really into films like this where there's not a lot of substance. But if you go in taking it for what it's worth, just a pure action movie, nonsense and foolery, I in my suggestion scale, I'd give it a 3.5 for you to watch.
All right, I got two things. One is that's that bad guy that made Mechagodzilla, right? Is he supposed to be the same bad guy from the second Godzilla movie? Like
No, he's
that at
just a
the
rich
end they
ass
take
person.
the
No.
so I don't understand. Where's the he's Game of Thrones, the
Yeah,
Lannister,
the
right?
Lannister. Yep.
He never came out again.
Nope.
That was a dumb storyline they
But
never
supposedly
finished.
there was two skulls. He just happened to have one of them.
I thought he had two. There was one and then the one he's in.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
Okay.
what is it? Maverick had one, or Apex had one, and then the other people had another one. So,
Oh, so they're another company.
mm-hmm.
I fucking gotta maybe
And
I don't
what's
know.
your second thing?
Second thing is quick question. If there was all this pandemic shit, no COVID, if stuff was normal and this movie had more hype, like more ability to hype, you go to a movie theater or whatever, you think it would have been a better You think it would have been better? Like,
In the theater,
yeah,
absolutely. IMAX, watching something like that in
A
IMAX, I
better
think would have
viewing
been.
experience, yeah.
yeah, that's what I meant. Like
I
a better
think,
viewing
yeah,
experience.
I think you would have noticed the things a lot less and focus more on the battles.
Well,
Like if
no, I don't think you would have noticed things a lot less, but you would have just felt more like into the movie because just the atmosphere of watching it is it's the same thing goes with Marvel movies and anime movies. If you ever go watch them in theaters, the crowd of themselves, like the way they get hyped, just gets you really hyped, and you get more into the movies.
yeah, like if I would have, if it was me and there was no COVID or nothing, I would have hyped this shit up to the max and then released it in the summer, bro. Like hyped it up like if it was John Cena versus The Rock, fucking Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Like I would have hyped it up like that, bro. And then released it in the summer, and that shit would have made bread.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But a lot of HBO has been seeing a surge of a lot of people jumping on. So
Or one fight we really have to see. Felipe versus Jay. That's all I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna leave it at.
Isn't that a foot race though?
My last
ladies
thing
and
about it-
gentlemen, we're coming up on 3 minutes. After Leaps, we will be going on hiatus until next week.
Yeah, so my last thing, just to leave the viewers with, to just be a little bit more immersive with you guys and have you guys think a little bit, is if you had to make Kong fight any of the kaijus that Godzilla fought, who would you guys like to see fight? And like King Kong versus Mothra, or King Kong versus who? Besides Godzilla, who can you put King Kong up against? I want to know in the comments down below.
The monkey from Rampage.
Oh
Oh,
my.
that would be fire. King Kong would probably destroy him though. Imagine that though. But yeah, I would like to see a Kong movie where he does fight one of the big guys, one of the big monsters, So who would you guys think? I want to know down below. But that's it. That's all I had to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a Fair Shape podcast. El Señor Cri, K1 Sushi will take it away.
I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Thank you, Leap. Thank you, E, for joining us. We'll be back next week. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. It's the Fair Shake Podcast, suckers.